Hello and welcome back to Chapter 9, Measurement and Geometry, Lesson 6, Surface Area of Prisms and Cylinders. So the surface area of a three-dimensional figure is the combined area of the faces. Now a face is referring to each kind of like side, it's just the face of the figure. So here we have a rectangular prism. This front side of the rectangular prism is called a face. The top side is called a face, and the side is also called a face. When it says faces, that's what it's referring to. So all the combined areas of all the faces, that's what the surface area is. The area of the outside of the entire three-dimensional shape. You can find the surface area of a prism by drawing a net of the flattened figure. So here is a net of this figure. Now, if you see, this is where all the faces are shown. The front and the top and the side is what we saw. But there's also these other faces which are kind of hidden in the picture, but they're still there. So for this picture, it has a front face and it also has a back face. And they're identical, the front and the back. Also, there's a top and there's a bottom. And then there's a face on this side and there's also a face on this side. So in total, there are 6 faces in this entire rectangular prism. That means we need to find the area of each one of the 6 faces. So notice that the front and the back faces are the same. So if you look here, the front is 8 centimeters by 5 centimeters, and the back is 5 centimeters by 8. They're the same. The side faces are also the same. So this side face is 3 by 5, and this side face is also 3 by 5. And the top and the bottom are also the same. This is the 3 by 8 and a 3 by 8. So there's 2, these are the same, top and bottom, front and back, side to side. Okay? So we're going to find the surface area of the above figure. So the first thing we're going to do is find the area of the front face. Well, the area of the front face is a rectangle, so it's just going to be length times width, or 8 times 5. 8 times 5 is equal to 40 inches squared because we're talking about area. Now, the area of the front and the back are exactly the same. So we can just multiply 2 times the area of the front, and then we would know what the area is of both the front and the back. So right now, we know the front. The front is 40 here. Now this is 40, and the back is also 40. So when we go 2 times 40, and we get 80 inches squared, that is the combination of both the front and the back, the area of both the front and the back. Right here, this 80. Okay, let's go ahead and find the area of the side. Now the area of this side is a rectangle, so it's just going to be length times width, or 3 times 5. So 3 times 5, which is 15 inches squared. So this 15 inches squared, which is the area, is this side alone. However, I can do a little bit better. There are 2 sides. So to find the area of both of these, we can just multiply this by 2, and then we will have the area of both sides. So it would be 2 times 15. 2 times 15 is 30. So 30 inches squared is the area of both of these sides. Here. That's the one that we're using. And this is the one, the total of everything right there. Okay? Now, we want to find the top face. So the area of the top face right here's the top face. Again, it's a rectangle, so it's going to be length times width, or length times width. This is 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. So that means the area of this top alone is 24 inches. But we notice that the top and the bottom are exactly the same. So we can figure out the areas of both of these if we just go 2 times 24. So 2 times 24, I'm going to go ahead and do that off to the side. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. So that ends up being 48. That's the top and the bottom is 48. Okay? Now we have found the area of all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. So to find the surface area of the entire figure, we just need to combine all of the areas. So we're going to take the 80, the area of the front and the back. We're going to add it to the area of the 2 sides, which was 30, plus the area of the top and the bottom, which was 48. To figure out the total surface area of this figure, I'm going to go ahead and take this off to the side. 0 plus 8 is 8. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. So the surface area of everything is 158 inches squared. It's area, so it's going to be inches squared. So the surface area of the prism is 158 inches squared. So that's how you determine the surface area. So we're going to go ahead and practice this. We're going to find the surface area formed by each net. So first, we're going to find the area of this side right here. Okay, and that's going to be length times width. The length is 10. The width is 5. We substitute that in. Area equals 10 times 5. 10 times 5 is 50. The area equals 50 inches squared. However, we know that there are 2 of these. There's one here and there's one there. So to find the area of both, we are going to multiply I'm going to call this the side, and this is going to be a side. Okay, so the area of side is going to be 50 times 2, which is going to equal 100 inches squared. So the area of the sides equals 100 inches squared. Okay. Now I'm going to call this the top. This is going to be the top. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and find the area of the top. Area of top is going to be length times width. The length is going to be 8, and the width is going to be 10. There's the 10. So we substitute that in. So area of top is going to be 8 times 10, which is 80. Okay, so here, the area of the top here is 80. But we notice that it has a top and it has a bottom. So it has 2 that are the same. and this is the bottom. So if we want to find the area of the top and bottom, we're going to take 80 and multiply it by 2, which is 160. Okay? So the area of top and bottom is 160 inches squared. Okay? Now there is the front. So we're calling this the front. Okay? And so the area of the front is also a rectangle, so it's going to be length times width. This length is 8. This width is 5, right there. So it's going to be length times width. Length is 8. Width is 5. We plug those in. So area of front equals 8 times 5. Area of front equals 8 times 5 is 40. Okay? So that is the area of this, 40. Okay? But we also notice that this is the front, and this right here is the back. So if we want to do both of those, we're just going to go area of the front and back is equal to 40 times 2, which is equal to 80. So that means the area of front and back equals 80 inches squared. Okay, right there. So now we want to find the combined surface area. So we're going to take the areas of the sides, the areas of the top and the bottom, and the areas of the front and back and add them all together. So surface area equals 100 plus 160 plus 80. Okay, I'm going to take those on the side and add them up. So 160, 180. That we're going to add them. 0, 6 plus 8 is 14. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So the surface area of this entire net is 340 inches squared. Right there. Perfect. So now I want you to go ahead and try problem 6 on your own. So go ahead and pause, work out problem 6, use this as a guide to show your work, and then when you get done, press play and we'll see how you did. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, we're back with problem 6. We have a net here, so let's go ahead and figure out what the surface area of this net is. Okay, so the first thing I see is, to me, these look like the sides right here and right here. So this is a side, and this is a side. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the area of the side. So area of a side is going to be length times width. The length right here is 12, so that means this is 12, and the width is 10. So L equals 12 and W equals 10. I'm going to substitute those values in. I get 12 times 10, and anytime you multiply anything by 10, you can just put a 0 on it. So the area of the side is equal to 120. So that's this value right here. This is 120. But what we notice is that there's two sides which are the same, right here and right here. So if we want to find the area of the sides, plural, we're going to take 120 and multiply it by 2. 120 multiplied by 2, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2. That ends up being 240. So the area of the sides is equal to 240 centimeters squared. Area of both of the sides. Right here. So perfect. 240 centimeters squared. Okay. This right here looks like the front. We're going to call this the front. Okay, which would mean this one would be the back. The front and the back. So let's figure out what the area of the front is. So the area of the front, it is a rectangle, so it's going to be length times width. The length is 12 and the width is 8. So length times width, the length is 12 and the width is 8. We substitute those values in. The area of the front is equal to 12 times 8. I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to go ahead and do the multiplication. 8 times 2 is 16. Write the 6, carry the 1. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So that means the area of the front is equal to 96 centimeters squared. Now, so that would be this portion right here, the front. That's this area of that surface. But what I notice is that this area of the front, there's a front and there is a back, and they're the same. So if I want to find the areas of both of those, I just need to multiply the front by 2. So the area of the front and back is going to equal 96 times 2. Well, I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to figure that out real quick. 96 times 2, 2 times 6 is 12, write the 2, carry the 1. 2 times 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19. So that means the area of the front and back is equal to 192 centimeters squared. Right there. So this is the front and the back. These are the two sides. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4 faces. We need to find 2 more. So this is going to be the top, and this is going to be the bottom. So let's figure out what the area of the top is. Well, the area of the top is equal to, it's a rectangle, so it's length times width again. The length is 10, the width is 8. I'm going to substitute those values in. 10 times 8. 10 times 8 is 80. Okay, so that means the area of the top is 80. But I know that the top and the bottom are the same. So if I want to find the area of both, I just need to take the area of the top and multiply it by 2 to find the area of the top and the bottom. I'm going to take 80 and multiply it by 2, and what I end up with (80 times 2 is 160 centimeters squared. And that's what the area of the top and the bottom equal. So I'm ready to find the surface area of this entire figure. The surface area is going to equal the area of the sides, which is 240, plus the area of the front and the back, which is 192, plus the area of the top and the bottom, which is 160. So I'm going to go ahead and take all these 3 numbers and add them up. Zero plus 2 is 2. 9 plus 6 is 15, plus 4 would be 19. Write the 9, carry the 1. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus another one is 4, plus another one is 5. So the surface area of this entire net is 592 centimeters squared. So if you got that one right, great job. Okay, let's go ahead and turn the page. So now we're going to look at surface area of cylinders. So the surface area of a cylinder consists of a rectangle and 2 circular bases. So here's a cylinder. Now the bases, the top base and the bottom base, are definitely circles, But what happens is if you cut this right here, you end up having a rectangle, which is found, the area of a rectangle, right, is length times width. But there's a catch on this rectangle because the width of the rectangle is equal to the height of the cylinder. So this is the height of the cylinder. That's what the width of this rectangle is. But the length of this rectangle, because it's this rectangle folds around this circle. So the length of the rectangle is equal to the circumference of the base. So if you take this rectangle and you fold it, okay, so look at here. I have this right here. I have this. Okay, it's just a rectangle. But if you fold it in the shape of a circle, just bear with me. That circle, when you fold it all out, that becomes the circumference. So this is the length and this is the width, right? The area of this rectangle is length times width. But if we take it and make it into a cylinder, this length is actually the same thing as the distance or the perimeter around the circle. I know this isn't a perfect circle, so I need you to kind of use your imagination, and it's not lining up perfectly, and that's okay. I just need you to get the concept that this length is actually the same as the circumference of the circle, that top base, because when I roll it out, right now, this distance is the circumference of a circle, and when I expand it, that circumference of the circle turns into the length. So the length is equal to the circumference, which is 2 pi r. So when you're finding the area of this rectangle, you're going to be taking the length times the width, or 2 pi r times w. And this right here, this is going to be the 2 pi r. That's what this is going to be, because that wraps around that circle, and the height is right here. That's the h. So it's going to be 2 pi r times h for the area of that rectangle. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at a couple problems. So we're going to find the surface area of the cylinder formed by the net here. Okay, so we are going to find the area of each circular base. So we know that the area is found by pi r squared. We're using 3.14 for pi. The radius is going to be 5. So, you know, and 5 squared. So I'm actually going to take this over here to show my work. So the area is pi r squared. R is equal to 5. I'm using 3.14 times 5 squared. 5 squared, we got to do the exponents because of the order operations. 5 squared is the same thing as 5 times 5, which is 25. So I'm finding the area, which is approximately 3.14 times 25, right? And I need to determine this calculation, so I'm going to go up where I have a little bit of space. How about up here? 3.14 times 25. 5 times 4 is 20. Write the 0, carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. 5 times 3 is 15. I'm going to write the 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to add 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 8 is 15. Write the 5, carry the 1. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 1 is 8. And 1 plus 6 is 7. I got to figure out how many decimal places. In the problem, there's 2, 1, 2. That means in my answer, there's going to have to be 2. So my answer ends up being 78.5 centimeters squared. That's the area of this circular base right here. So the area of this circular base is 78.5 centimeters. If we're going to find the area of both circular bases, they both have this 5 centimeters, so they're both the same. So we can just go 2 times 78.5 here to figure out the area of both of the bases. And that's going to end up being 78.5 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10, write the 1. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17, write the 1. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. And there is 1 decimal place. So our answer is going to be 157 centimeters squared. Perfect. So that's the area of both of the circular bases. That's what we're going with. All of that is 157. Now we need to find the area of the rectangle. Well, we know the height is 8. And this length is actually going to be the same thing as the circumference, which is 2 pi r. Okay? So let's see here. We have the area is equal to length times width. The length is 2 pi r times h. Okay? Our h is equal to 8. Our radius is equal to 5. So we're going to plug in those values. 2 pi r is 5 times h, which is 8. Okay. So then we just need to find the area. Since this is all multiplication, everything's being multiplied, I can determine what I want to multiply first. So I'm going to go 2 times 5, which is 10, and then go 10 times 8, which is 80. So I'm going to say the area equals 80 times 3.14, and then I'm going to go do that over here on the side. So 3.14 times 80, there's a 0, so I'm just going to write it there. Now I'm going to go to the tens. 8 times 4 is 32, write the 2, carry the 3. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11. I'm going to write the 1, carry the 1. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So then I just need to figure out where I put the decimal. 1, 2 places, so 1, 2. So that means the area is going to be 251.2 centimeters squared. And that is the area of the rectangle right here. Okay? So now I want to find the surface area of the entire thing. So I'm going to have to take the area of the rectangle and add it to the areas of the circles. So that's going to be 157 plus 251.2. So I'm just going to add those off to the side over here. I'm adding decimals. 2 plus 0 is 2. 1 plus 7 is 8. 5 plus 5 is 10. Write the 0, carry the 1. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So that means there's a total of 408.2. Oh, it says round it to the nearest whole number. So that 2 would not, the answer says round to the nearest whole number. So it would just be 408. 408 centimeters squared. That's what the surface area of this figure would be. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and try this on 2 more problems. Problem 11 says find the surface area of the cylinder formed by each net. Round to the nearest whole number. Use 3.14 for pi. Okay, cool. So first we need to find the areas of the circle. So area of circle is going to be pi r squared, and our radius is 6. So we're going to find the area of the circle is going to be approximately, we're going to use 3.14 times 6 squared. Now remember, 6 squared is the same thing as 6 times 6, which equals 36. And order of operations says we need to determine what that exponent is first. So the area of the circle is approximately 3.14 times 36. Now we just need to determine what that equals. So we're going to go off to the side and go 3.14 times 36. Multiply those two together. 4 times 6 is 24. Write the 4, carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. Now I'm in the 10s, so I need to put a 0 in the 1s. 3 times 4 is 12. Write the 2, carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. Going to add these. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 2 is 10. Write the 0, carry the 1. 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Write the 3, carry the 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus another 1 is 11. I need to figure out where I'm going to put the decimal. There's 2 places here. It means my answer has to have 2 places. So I put the decimal right there. So the area of one circle is approximately 113.04. Okay? So that's the area of this circle. But we know that the area of both circles is exactly the same. So if I want to find the area of both circles, I just need to go ahead and multiply 113.04 times 2. So the area of the circles is going to be 113.04 times 2. So I'm going to go 113.04 times 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. There are 2 decimal places here in the problem. So there's going to be 2 in my answer. So that means the area of the circles is approximately 226.08. Perfect. So now it's on to finding the area of the rectangle. Okay, so we know that we have our width is here and our length is here. So our length is going to be the same thing as the circumference, which is 2 pi r. So the area of the rectangle is going to equal length times width. The length is equal to 2 pi r, and the r is, the radius is 6, and the width is equal to 10, right here. So the area of the rectangle is equal to 2 pi r times w. This is the length. The length is the circumference. Now we substitute these values in. The area of the rectangle is equal to 2 times 3.14 times the radius, which is 6, times the width, which is 10. Now, since everything is multiplied by each other, I'm just going to go ahead and multiply these numbers first. So 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 times 10, whenever you multiply something by 10, you can just put a 0 on the end. It's 120. So that means the area of the rectangle, 2 times 6 times 10 is equal to 120. 120 times 3.14. I just need to determine what that is. So I'm going to go off to the side here and go 3.14 times 120. Oops. 3.14 times 120. Okay, 0 times everything is just going to be 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. I'm in the hundreds, so I need to put 2 zeros. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Now I add all these numbers up. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 0 is 8. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. And then a 3. We have 2 decimal places in our answer, our problem, so we need 2 in our answer. So that means that the area of the rectangle is equal to 376.8. And that is the area of the rectangle, which is right here. So now we found the area of all the surfaces, the rectangle and the 2 circles. So we want to go ahead and find the surface area, which is going to be adding up the area of the circles and adding up the area of the rectangles. So 226.08 plus 376.8. I'm going to take that off to the side. 8 plus 0 is 8. 0 plus 8 is 8. 6 plus 6 is 12. Write the 2, carry the 1. 7 plus 2 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. Write the 0, carry the 1. 3 plus 2 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. Okay. And it asks us to round to the nearest whole number. So our whole number is here at 2. I'm going to look here, and this 8 is going to round that 2 up to a 3. So that means the surface area is going to equal 603 centimeters squared. So if you got that one right, great job. Okay, I want you to go ahead and try 12. So go ahead and pause. And when you get done with 12, press play and we'll go over it together. Okay, we're back. Let's see how you did on problem 12. So to determine the answer to 12, we need to find the area of the circles first. So the area of the circle is going to be pi r squared, and the radius is equal to 9. So that's going to be approximately 3.14 times 9 squared. Order of exponents said we have to do order of operations says we have to do the exponents first. 9 squared is the same thing as 9 times 9, which is the same thing as 81. So this is going to be approximately 3.14 times 81. Let's go ahead and do that off to the side. 3.14 times 81. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Now I'm going to work over here. I need to put a 0 here. 8 times 4 is 32. Write the 2. Carry the 3. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 3 is 11. Write the 1. Carry the 1. 8 times 3 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. I add all these numbers. 4 plus 0 is 4. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 5, 2. And then we have 2 decimal places here, which means we're going to have 2 decimal places here, which means we end up with the area of the circle is approximately 254.34. Now, that's the area of this circle, but we know there's 2 circles, and they both have the same radius, so they're both the same. So we just need to multiply 254.34 times 2. So I'm going to do that right here, 254.34 times 2. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 5 is 10, write the 0, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. We need to figure out how many decimal places. There's 2 here, so there's going to be 2 in your answer. So we have the area of the circles approximately being 508.68. So that is the area of both of the circles. Okay. Now we need to find the area of the rectangle. Okay, we know that this is the width, and our length is going to equal the circumference, which is 2 pi r. Okay, so the area of the rectangle is equal to length times width, and the length is equal to 2 pi r times the width. The radius is 9, and the width is 11. So we're going to go ahead and substitute those values in. Nine times 11. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply 9 times 11, which is 99, and then multiply that by 2. So 99 times 2. 2 times 9 is 18. Write the 8, carry the 1. 2 times 9 is 18 plus 1 would be 19. So that means the area of the rectangle is going to equal 198 times 3.14, because 9 times 11 is 99. 99 times 2 is 198. Okay? So now I'm just going to go ahead and figure that out. 198 times 3.14. Okay. 4 times 8 is 32. Write the 2, carry the 3. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 3 would be 39. Write the 9, carry the 3. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. Now I'm going to the tens place, so I have to add a 0 in the ones, or write a 0 in the ones. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. Now I'm going to the hundreds place, so I have to add a 0 in the ones and the tens. 3 times 8 is 24. Write the 4, carry a 2. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 2 would be 29. Write a 9, carry a 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 would be 5. So I'm going to add up all these numbers. 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 8 is 17. Write the 7, carry the 1. I'm going to do this. I know that 9 plus 1 is 10, and then 7 plus 4 is 11, and 11 plus 10 would be 21. So I'm going to write the 1 and carry the 2. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Write the 2, carry the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. So we got to put the decimal. There's 2 decimal places here. That means there has to be 2 in our answer. Means our answer of the area of the rectangle ends up being 621.72. That is the area of this rectangle right here. So the area of all of this. Okay? So now we found the area of all the faces. Now we just need to find the surface area. So we're going to find the surface area is found by taking the area of the circles, which would be 508.68, plus the area of the rectangle, 621.72. I'm going to do these numbers off to the side. So 508.68, 621. You're always lining up the decimals when you're adding decimals. 8 plus 1 is 9. 6 plus 7 would be 13. Write the 3, carry the 1. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus another 1 would be 10. Write the 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 5 plus 6 is 11. So there you have it. 1,130.39 is the surface area. Now they want us to round to the nearest whole number. So here's the whole number, 0. I'm going to look here. The 3 is this in the tenths place is not 5 or above, so that's our answer right there. The surface area equals 1,130 inches squared. So if you got that one right, yokedinky mashta, you did a great job, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.